Good morning. I love people. People are fascinating. People are the products of God's handiwork. Like someone said, God must have loved people. He made so many of them. Have you ever been somewhere and just looked around at the different couples and wondered how they got together to become husband and wife? Well, I've done that before. I'm sure a lot of their stories would be interesting. I came across one of the most unusual get-together stories the other day. There was this gal, Alice, who was attending the funeral of her mother. Mom had always been so kind and supportive. And when she came down with the disease that eventually claimed her life, it fell to Alice to take care of her. Her siblings simply weren't in a position to take on that responsibility, but Alice considered it an honor to see to her mother's needs. And she did so until Mom passed away. Then she found herself completely lost, disoriented, and aching emptiness inside. And then there was the sledgehammer blow of attending her funeral. Her brother clutched his wife's hand. Her sister sat by her husband, who held his arms around her while she held their baby. Alice felt so alone, grieving very deeply. About that time, a door opened, and she heard quick footsteps coming her way. In a brief moment, a young man, his eyes filled with tears, sat down beside her. Then he sniffled, "I'm late." And then he whispered to Alice, "Why did they call Mary by the name Margaret?" Alice whispered back, "Because that's what her name is." Nobody called her Mary. Alice wondered why this stranger sat next to her, interrupting her, grieving with his tears and fidgeting. Then he told Alice, "Her name is Mary Peters." Alice whispered, "No, that isn't right." Then a sudden thought crossed his mind. He whispered to Alice, "Is this the Lutheran church?" She responded, "No, it's across the street." The young man was at the wrong funeral. Alice said she couldn't help it, but she choked back a laugh, and so did the young man. Alice said somehow our laughter had a healing effect. I could just see my mother in heaven laughing right along with us. But the story doesn't end there. After the final amen, she said we walked together to the parking lot. She chuckled, "Perhaps we will be the talk of the town." He smiled and then said, "Well, since I've missed my aunt's funeral, maybe we could go get a cup of coffee." Alice agreed. 1 year later, they both said, "I do," at an altar in a small country church. This time they both arrived at the right place at the right time. This all happened 2 decades ago, and to this day when people ask them how they got together, she says ours was a match made in heaven. And he says her mother and my aunt introduced us to each other in a very real way. Ours was a match made in heaven. I'm Larry Hatfield. Good day.